So I'm putting in my disc in my Walkman, and this is what I'm gonna hear.
100%.
All right. Yeah. Track number 1.
All right. Well, this is actually track number 5 because we're counting down. Okay.
Right.
Counting down.
Okay.
So number 5, the Jared McCann for Erickson Branson trade.
Oh, do you have the full thing?
I can look it up. Do you want it?
Because I? Yeah. Just if you type in Jared McCann NHL trade tracker, that's welcome to my every summer as I make trade trees. This is what I do.
Okay, all right.
Because that was
here we go.
Huge deal for both teams.
Okay, so this is May 25th, 2016.
Wow. So he's 2 years in.
Erickson Branson and a 2016 5th-round pick from Florida to Vancouver for Jared McCann, a 2016 2nd-round pick, a 2016 4th-round pick, a trade that we roundly made fun of at the time.
Dude, it's Jared McCann and a sweetener?
Yeah, please take Jared McCann. We want Erickson Branson that bad, but we need you to take something to take this Jared McCann contract, this onerous Jared McCann 10-game contract off of us.
And it doesn't... Here, can you click on Jared McCann? When was he... what round was he drafted in? I know he was 2014. He was either a first or a second rounder.
24th overall.
He's a first rounder who's 20 years old.
Yeah, but Steve, Erickson Branson was a 3rd overall pick. He was a 3rd overall pick.
Oh,
and despite having some of the worst analytical numbers of the analytics era, Erickson Branson has made himself available to other teams. I almost said useful, but I don't think he was ever really that useful. They said he was the kind of guy that they needed to put them over the top. The toughness on the back end. What ended up happening was he just got kind of turnstile a lot. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Jared McCann, he's been okay, but he's not been that amazing. Yes, until last season.
Well, the Panthers acquired him. The Panthers acquired him in the Computer Boys era.
Yep.
Which was something that the Panthers stuck to for exactly 6 months before abandoning the plan altogether. And so then Jared McCann is in this situation where people in his own organization are actively rooting against him. Mm-hmm. Gee, I wonder why he's such a late bloomer. You know?
He's finally had some support.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, and it's not like, guys, this wasn't surprising this season. It's not surprising that he's doing well with Seattle. We all knew it. He's been good for a few years. The Pittsburgh Penguins were like, hey, Jared, you want to come play hockey for us? And he said, do you actually want me to play hockey for you? Or do you want me to kind of show up and put on the jersey and skate around, but you hate me the entire time? And they said, no, we want you to come and play hockey for us and do well. You want me to do well? Well, yeah, because your success is our success. You're the first person who's ever said that to me. We know, Jared, we know. Anyway, welcome to Pittsburgh. It's the wildest thing. The wildest thing, and everyone who slammed that deal at the time was absolutely right. And Jim Benning was fired soon after. Half a decade later. Sorry, I misread the cue card. Sorry, 5.5 years later, he was fired.
Did we mention, when the whole Leafs Jared McCann thing happened, did we mention that McCann is a Sioux Greyhound?
Oh, did we, Jesse?
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we did.
Number 4, the trade for and signing of Brandon Sutter. The trade, if you remember it, and this happened, again, right around just a year before the Erickson Branson trade.
Actually, I don't remember this trade.
The Brandon Sutter trade is interesting. Vancouver Canucks got Brandon Sutter in a 2016 3rd-round pick. Now, Brandon Sutter, that was it wasn't mid-season, but he'd come off like a 20-goal season, done pretty well. The Canucks gave up Nick Bonino, Adam Clendening, and a 2016 2nd-round pick.
Ooh!
Now, and this is what makes it even worse, Brandon Sutter, 5 years, $21.85 million. That's $4.357 million per year. At the time, comparisons to Patrice Bergeron were made.
I remember this, yes.
Benning said, listen, I don't want to compare him to Patrice Bergeron, but from my time in Boston, Sutter's the kind of guy you win with. Like Bergeron, the kind of guy you win with. So maybe he wasn't Patrice Bergeron, but maybe he was 50 to 60% of Patrice Bergeron. Let me throw this at you. I'm just going to throw a random stat at you. It's called goals. Have you heard of it? In the same time frame we're talking about, 16, 17 to now, Bergeron has 115 goals. Sutter's got 49.
Bro, you really can.
And he made like $2 million less.
You can ride a Stanley Cup for exactly 10 years.
You can.
10 years.
Yeah. Number 3. I think you'll be surprised to see this so low on the list. Louis Erickson.
Oh, boy.
6 years. $36 million. And that's not all, friends. A no-movement clause. Full no-move in the first 2 years. The second 2, well, a no-trade clause. And the next 2, a modified NTC. And let us not forget that most of the deal was paid out in bonuses. Can I read them to you?
Sure.
Because they're fun. His bonus, $7 million. Next year, $7 million. Next year, $6 million. Next year, $4 million. Next year, $3 million. And then this year, with the Coyotes, $1 million. And here's the best part. This contract was essentially buyout proof until this season. His base salary the entire time has been $1 million until this year where it's $3 million.
Oh, my.
Do you give Jim Benning credit for getting rid of the deal?
No, because I don't think he made life easier on the next guy by bringing in Oliver Ekman-Larsson's boat anchor.
But he got rid of that number 3 on the list deal.
He did.
He traded Louis Erickson in the 1 year where Canucks fans were content having Louis Erickson on the
which
team.
is the last year.
All right.
And for more expensive defending Louis Erickson.
Yeah.
With a worse contract.
Yeah.
It's just
Hold on.
no creativity.
Wait till you hit this. Okay, ready?
Okay.
How many goals did Louis Erickson have over his 5 years with the Canucks? Remember, it's a 6-year deal, but his 6th year is going to be in Arizona. In Arizona this year.
Okay, so Adam is going to say the total number of goals.
Total number of goals in the 5 seasons he spent with the Canucks.
I want to know what he had year over year. I think the total number of goals, 5 seasons?
Yeah.
23.
23. Jesse.
I'm going to go with 19.
19. Okay. Well, he had 38.
Oh.
Because he had one good year, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he had like 15 goals 1 year or something.
Oh, okay.
But that works out to roughly over the 5 years. I put it over 6 years, but over the 5 years, it works out to be about $950,000 a goal.
Oh,
it's a $36 million contract. He hasn't scored yet in Arizona, so thus far the contract value is $900.
He doesn't have a goal?
He doesn't have a goal in Arizona this year, so $950,000 per goal for this contract.
yeah, but when he gets his first, he'll lead the team in scoring.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Isn't that nuts?
I wish I hadn't screwed that up. That was a great line.
This is the
Damn.
if you haven't been paying attention, if you just tuned in at this point, it's the top 5 Jim Benning greatest hits.
Louis Erickson's coming off of a 30-goal season with the Bruins.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Fell off a
Dude,
cliff.
he was good. He was extremely good. He was the most. He for 3 straight years was voted most underrated player in the NHL, which is wrong. You can't be the most underrated player for 3 consecutive years, unless you go from not knowing how to skate to scoring 5 NHL goals to scoring 30 to scoring 100.
This poor guy too. He was a good player, and he's got to forever be the guy who was traded for Tyler Seguin in Boston, and then forever be the guy who signed that massive deal in Vancouver. Which, by the way, at the time, I guess you could argue he deserved it. Maybe it was still high for the time, though.
There
It
were
was high.
warning signs.
I'm sure Louis had fun with his $6 million a year in North Van.
Man, everybody talks about that one. Remember that goal where it's like, Louis Erickson scores on his own goal from center ice?
I don't
on the
remember
delayed
that.
penalty.
Oh no!
Oh man, I don't know if we're allowed to play. Are we allowed to show
I
it?
won't show it because we'll get
We get
dinged,
NHL rights
but
issues.
I'll show Steve.
Oh my!
It's the first thing that pops up.
You can play the audio. You can play the audio, right?
Let's just leave it.
Okay.
Who was that who chased the puck? You tried. Oh, it's in the first period.
Oh,
You got the first goal of the game.
no.
Okay, unpopular opinion. Whoever that was.
Good Branson?
Oh, that's good Branson.
Yeah.
He could have caught that.
No, he couldn't have.
He could have dove for that.
So just to describe anybody, it was a delayed penalty, I assume. That's why there's no goalie in net. Louis Erickson passes it back to his own zone to Goodbranson, and the puck goes directly in their own goal. And Goodbranson's head goes headfirst into the goal because he tried to dive and save for the puck.
It looks like a goal from Troy Brouwer. That was another very good contract.
Oh,
Very, very good. Weren't they all signed in that one? Wasn't it the 2016
Yeah, where it's
summer?
like Okposo.
Every deal is bad.
Every deal is bad. Okay, so by the way, that was the disastrous 2016 July 1st.
Ugh.
We're going to move forward a couple of years to the most disastrous July 1st in Vancouver Canucks history.
Is this number 1?
No, it's number 2.
Oh my God.
Guys, $24 million. 8 total years in term. Antoine Roussel and Jay Beagle. Each of them got 4 years and $12 million. They were shipped off with number 3 on our list, Louis Eriksen, for Connor Garland, who was a good pickup, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's a good player, but not matching his contract. That's fair, right? So Antoine Roussel
It's nice.
and Jay Beagle were brought in to be depth options. Now, here's the problem. You spent $6 million a year on depth options. That should cover your fourth line minimum.
Dude, they followed the Dave Nonis with the Leafs playbook to a T.
Just lock up depth.
They followed the wrong Dave Nonis playbook.
So,
They followed it to a T.
now,
Hey, you know what we need? We got to bolster that third line.
right, and they got to be defensive. So they got Roussel, who is a penalty kill specialist, and they got Jay Beagle, who is a guy who got lucky and won the cup with the Capitals. And
Did he win the cup with the No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Did
He did win the cup with the Capitals.
In 2018?
He's coming off the cup win with the Capitals.
Oh, and that's why he got all the money.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he punched out before they won.
Oh, no, he won. Now, I'm going to throw a random set at you. It's called goals. Okay?
Okay, computer boy.
All right. Now, 3 of the 4 years that each of these players were signed to were served with the Canucks, Jesse and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How many goals did Antoine Roussel have in the 3 years that he played for the Vancouver Canucks?
I'm going to say 17 and a bite
What's a bite?
with your teeth.
Okay.
What?
I don't know.
I don't
He's
know
a-
what that
He's a
means.
rat.
Oh, he's a rat. Okay, yeah. He's a jerk to play. Jesse, what about
He
you?
is, though.
Hot take.
Jesse.
You said 17. I'm going to say 14.
Steve is correct with 17 goals.
Oh,
No way!
nice.
Wow!
And let me add,
I nailed it.
2 more in the playoffs, too.
Hey!
Jay Beagle, 3 of 4 years of that $12 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
How many regular season goals did Jay Beagle have?
I'm gonna
20.
go. Oh, I was gonna
20.
say I'm gonna go first. 23.
Oh.
Actual
Actual retail price?
6 goals.
Oh
What?
no!
And 1 playoff goal, and I'll never forget that one because I said that was the shittiest contract they'd ever signed. And Vancouver Canucks fans, after he scored in overtime in like the second round, were like, "See, worth the money." Yeah, sure.
And that would be his only goal in that playoff run.
That's right.
17 games, 1 goal.
Right, now, please don't look up any more stats, Jesse, because
No, I pulled up the contract.
All
so I
right,
can
cool.
see all
cool.
Jay Beagle
Just
stuff.
when this says now regular season, the Canucks paid out 3/4 of both deals. That works out to 18 of the $24 million. For both of these players, that's roughly $782,000 per goal.
Why do we go?
Some of the most expensive goals in the NHL. Now, you might say, hey, Adam, these are defensive pieces. They're not supposed to score. To which I say, yes. However, one does not allocate $6 million a year to an average of 7.6 goals per year.
How many Philip Deneaus do people think there are?
Right. Thank you.
If you check the census, there's 1.
Yes. Yeah. And
Like, oh my God.
now, lastly, and this is perhaps the most, and this didn't occur in July, unfortunately, but had it been a normal season, it would have.
Mm-hmm.
The most disastrous offseason is of all time is the season before last, right after the COVID Cup. And the perfect tweet was, the Canucks aren't going to lose Markstrom, Tanev, Toffoli, and Stetcher, are they? And they lost Markstrom.
For nothing.
They lost Tanev.
Oof.
They
For
lost
nothing.
Toffoli
Who they had just acquired.
and spent a lot to get.
Mhm.
And they lost Stetcher. Now, let's take a look around and see how that went. Because remember, at the time, Jim Benning just ran out of time to move money. That's right. He couldn't get rid of Beagle and Roussel and Louis Eriksen. The previous 2 and the previous 3 players I mentioned are the reason that these guys couldn't stick around, by the way. Just throwing that out there. They'd come off a second round surprise. Like amazing. Things were rolling. So Markstrom had a bit of a bad year in Calgary last year, but he's now top 5 in every major goaltending category in the entire NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Tanev anchoring that same Calgary defense that's crushing it this year. So fair enough. Tyler Toffoli last year got out to an early season lead in the NHL in goals last season. He finished last season with 28 goals in 52 games. That's a 44 goal pace. And need I remind you, he went to the Stanley Cup final.
How many of those goals were against the Canucks? I need to know.
I have no idea. How would I find that?
I'm pretty sure. I think if you went to his game log from last season, because I'm almost positive Tyler Toffoli had more goals against the Vancouver Canucks last year alone than Jay Beagle ever scored as a member of the
That's
Vancouver
true, because he
Canucks.
had one game where he had a hat trick, and then 2 other games. I think one game where he scored 2 goals, and then another one where he scored 1 goal. So right there, that's
baby.
6.
All right, let me see. I'm looking 2020, 2021. For some reason, ESPN does not have the game logs before this season.
It was like the Kessel era Leafs playing against Tyler Seguin's Bruins every night.
Ooh.
Every single night. Here's a goal. Here's a goal for you. You want a goal? Here's another goal. You want a couple goals? Here's a couple goals. Oof. We don't need to look this up. It's
No.
okay.
And
it's bad.
Special mention to Jim Benning for drafting Jake Virtanen above William Nylander and Nick Ehlers.
Oh, I was so happy.
That wasn't number 1. It was that was 6th for me.
Oof. Whoa. Okay, so here's what I love. Now we get to talk about what didn't make the list.
What didn't make the list?
What was the player's name? Who was the Russian defenseman they had who Jim tried to sign to a contract that was illegal?
Oh, jeez, I have no idea.
Remember that?
I do remember that, but I don't know his name.
He tried to sign him to an entry-level contract that was too many years, and as a result of having to swat the contract down, the National Hockey League had to issue a memo to all the NHL teams. Hey guys, just to remind you, here's what the rules are. They had to say, here's what the rules are.
There's also that clip floating around of James Duthie talking to Jim Benning at the draft, and I think it was one of Jim Benning's first drafts because it's James Duthie talking at the draft and not somebody from Sportsnet. So it was a while ago, and he's like, Jim, what would you say that you're in the middle of? And Jim just says, nope. Like, would you say it's a rebuild? Nope.